Hi all, Jared Pitty here for IGN, and I'm joined by
Sean Finnegan. How's it going, Jared?
Sean, I am resplendent today. How are you?
Great.
I'm glad to hear it. And today we are looking at Halo 5's newest mode. You want to tell us a little bit about this, Sean?
Yeah, so this is Warzone. We've heard a little bit about this, and I think you and I and other people at IGN and obviously in the industry have gotten our hands on it before. But this is 343 Industries' new multiplayer 12v12 PvE/PvP blended multiplayer mode.
That's a lot of words coming together in one place. So 12 on 12 PvP, but also PvE.
Yeah.
Because you have bots defending the bases, but you also have these bosses showing up, and there's a kind of a bounty system. You want to tell the viewers about that?
Yeah. So basically, the idea is that there are 3 points on the map. You have east base, west base, and on this map it's Spire, but like a third neutral point where you're supposed to try and use, with your other Spartan teammates, take control of these bases. But at certain times throughout the match, NPCs will spawn, enemy-controlled AI,
yeah,
and they'll be of varying difficulty levels, and basically the more difficult they are, the more points you get for defeating them, and they can be really tough. You need to use vehicles against some of them. You need to utilize teamwork with a couple of other Spartans, plus some vehicles sometimes in order to take them out. They're not something you can just go grab with a shotgun on your own.
And they create these really unique three-way combat situations where you're fighting them, the other team's trying to take them down, and you and the other team are both fighting over the kill,
exactly.
where you're trying to eliminate each other.
What's great about this mode, I think, is that it really favors the teamwork aspect of things, where in Arena, which is 4v4 small-sided, classic Halo matchmaking and multiplayer,
yeah,
one player could dominate, and if he's really, really good, he can carry a team to victory. That is not really the case here. Your kills count for some points, but as you can see here, like, we've already gotten some kills, and the score is 2-1.
And the final score you're shooting for is 1,000.
Yeah, the final score is 1,000. So you're really kind of making your way here. That's the other thing about this match. If you haven't already looked at the playhead on the video, this is a 30-minute long match. So settle in, guys, because we're going to be watching this whole thing.
Absolutely. So what do you want to point out about what's happening right now?
So right now, you can see that I'm trying to capture the West Armory, and we actually have just successfully done it. Like you said before, when bases are neutral, there are creeps, enemy-controlled AI there already.
Yeah.
And you have to clear them out before you can take over a base. Now we're heading up to the Spire, and you can see marked on the map here with these two icons are 2 hunters, and each one of them is worth 25 points. So if we can down both of them, we'll catch up to the blue team relatively quickly.
Right. So you have you kind of have these big swings like that, because if one team is way behind, I remember at least one match where one team was way back, and suddenly they down 2 bosses, bam, bam, and they're right back in it in the head. It's really great.
I mean, this may actually be the match. I'm not sure if you were in this game specifically. This is my gameplay we're looking at here, and we're playing with a whole bunch of other journalists at the Halo 5 preview event, which actually happened last week in San Francisco. You and I were lucky enough to be there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, these matches can get really intense. There was a lot of like yelling going on in the room, just like, come get these guys, come help me down this guy, like, because some of these bosses that spawn during the match, these ones right here, they're marked as 25 victory points. That's the name of the score, victory points.
Yeah.
VP for short. But some of them, the more difficult ones that are in big vehicles that take a lot of coordination to take down, can be worth up to 150 points. And that is, like you said, a big swing if you can take it. You may be down by oh my gosh, a Warthog just comes like barreling through. I love that.
Yeah, we'll get to the vehicle stuff here in a second, because that's a whole other brand new system, what we have with Requisitions, which we haven't talked about yet. You're going to do Rex here in a little, so maybe we'll save that for the first time we
so you can see.
Oh, here we are.
You can see me accessing the Rex station and pulling up weapons and stuff. This is something that's brand new to Halo, and it's while not exclusive to Warzone, you can still use Rex in other game modes. It doesn't impact those other game modes in a way that it does in Warzone, which is like you can drop in after collecting energy, which you do by like assaulting points, killing enemies.
Pretty much everything you do successfully in Warzone contributes.
Yeah. You start to build up these energy points, and then you can spend them on things like power weapons or vehicles or anything, and you'll see a big list of things there. You can get all sorts of things: warthogs, ghosts, like
boosts, special equipment,
vehicles, special equipment, all that stuff.
Special weapons, and all those things unlock. It's a kind of a fascinating system because they're both unlocking in the match as you gain the points, but they're also unlocking what you have access to between the matches as you collect the cards, which is a whole other piece of Warzone.
Exactly. So requisition packs, they explained it to us a little bit better at the event, but like we had previously known it as just the way you sort of access weaponry in Warzone, which is not exactly the case. These are things that you can purchase in-game or spend points on in-game that unlock things like cosmetic stuff, like different skins for your weapons or stuff like that. And they're like, like a Pokemon card pack, you know? Like you open it and it comes with a certain set of cards, and probably most of what the ones you get are common or not so rare, and then there'll be a couple rare ones in each one. And those can be, you know, vehicles, those can be weapons or cosmetic things, and they're all just like kind of collect everything you can type things.
So you have these different looks, these different abilities in the map, and then you're gradually building these RP thresholds. And we'll try to point out next time you stop at an RP station or next time you go through one, how gradually the levels of requisitions move up as the match goes on, because the more you like there, you have a rec level 3
you can see in the top left,
right
I'm
now.
a rec level 3, which that's not that high. Like I can get some power weapons maybe, but like you see me scroll through them and I'm like, is it worth it? Sometimes, sometimes not.
Yeah.
You can get a weapon, but what I quickly realized is like, okay, so I grabbed a shotgun and I'm like, all right, I got a shotgun and a battle rifle. Now I am the most powerful I can be in Halo, right? Because that's classic Halo mentality. But it's really not. Like, not when you're fighting, what's the name of the Covenant tank? I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
But you can get like Covenant tanks. You can get the Mantis, which is like the new sort of like Walker AT-ST.
Yeah, and eventually you have the Phaetons coming down.
Yeah, there's a Phaeton. Like, there's you can get Banshees. You can get
you'll see it here in a little, but eventually they're just people running around in all kinds of vehicles, and then you have to equip yourself appropriately to take them down, but you also have other teams. And again, that's where the teamwork comes in. Some of the teams fighting against the vehicles, some of the teams going after the AI bosses, some of the teams defending your own territory against enemies. There's just so much happening all the time, and it gets kind of frantic.
It does, and that's all on top of what's happening with the core mechanic here, which is that, like, you can see in the bottom right-hand corner on the scorecard, there's beside red team and beside blue team, there's one icon that looks a little bit like a shield.
Yep.
Those represent the number of points that we're holding. Like I said, there's 3 on the map, east base, west base, and this big building that I'm running up right now called the Spire.
Right.
And when you capture those, you get a shield, and if you can capture all 3 points, the enemy's core becomes available. And if you can destroy the core, that's an instant win.
Right, because that's another way to win the match. There's an alternate victory condition. You get to 1,000 points, or the shields go down to their core because you control all other points. You rush the core, you destroy it.
Exactly. The core is not easy to destroy. It's not something like you can just sneak in there and grab all 3 points. One, grabbing all 3 points is very difficult. Like I said, there's 12 Spartans in here, and each point is defended by like NPCs, which are they're not pushovers. Like, there's definitely a point when I ran up to the Spire or some other point and tried to take out, just like didn't see any other enemy Spartans there. So I was like, I'm going to run in there and tag it myself. And the Marines themselves took me out just because there's 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah, they tend to gang up on you.
Yeah, they gang up on you.
They fight fair. Yeah, again, they're not complete pushovers. Their AI is okay. They're designed to protect that point effectively, and they do that well.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to think about. You're juggling different victory conditions. You're juggling your acquisitions. You're juggling control of each of these points. You're attacking the bosses, and you're dealing in classic Halo combat style with other Spartans. So just so much.
Absolutely. One of the other things I really wanted to point out was that, like, a big draw for this iteration of Halo. There you can see real quick, let me point that out. You can see on the right 2 more icons there. One is a yellow icon with a big skull in it. That is, I believe, Tankmaster something or other. I forgot his name.
That guy is a tremendous jerk.
Yeah, he sits on the beach out there. Oh, and there's that Zealot Assassin. I think I'm sitting here on the point, and at this point, I believe I'm asking Ryan, who's sitting next to me, I'm like, yo, come meet me at the Spire and let's go get that Zealot guy, because I think 2 of us can take him out. He's only 25 points, but if you look at the score, that's going to help us close the gap.
Significant change. Right?
Yeah, so I'm trying to protect this point right now until I meet up with some teammates. But yeah, the Tankmaster is out there, and he sits on the beach, and he's in a tank. Like, he's in a Scorpion, and he is no pushover. You can't just run up to him.
Even going out there with a tank, I went and fooled with him for a while, and just one by yourself tank v tank, no way. He's too tough.
You need support.
It's the same with the jerk that flies around, Captain whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, in the Phaeton.
Yeah, that
and he just
guy,
like wrecks shop. Yeah,
that guy's a jerk.
The air vehicles are particularly difficult to deal with because it's hard to save up for like a Banshee. Like that requires like 7 or 8 energy points, and like you said on the last screen, like I'm at 3 right now, and it's not, you have to really coordinate with your team and
it
be
is.
like
It's a
who's
risk
spending who's spending which points when and where to deal with which threat, and it requires a lot of teamwork and a lot of cooperation.
And the match kind of swings as you do that. So and then you look, and it's cool because at every level, you've based on what you've unlocked in your cards, you've got different weaponry, different vehicles, different classes of things available, and you're constantly shifting what's available based on, do I want to? If you keep grabbing things when you're low on points, you have this kind of slight advantage in the early game, but then late on, everybody else is running around in a vehicle and you're stuck on foot. It's just what do you do?
Like in one of these matches, I'm not sure that this is the one, but there was one guy in a Ghost who was wrecking everyone early game, just like they were up almost 200 points because like no one could get anywhere because he was the only one in a vehicle. But then later on, someone got a hang of the Banshee, and we just brought it back because that Ghost became 100% ineffective.
Right,
against
just
the
absolutely
Banshee.
obsolete. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's Tankmaster Rock. There you go.
There, that guy. You go down there with Ryan eventually and get blown up by him, right?
Or I think eventually I go over. I just get sick and tired of waiting at this point, and I go and try and take the Zealot Assassin myself. But like, at some point you just gotta you have to make moves in this game. Like, and that's why it requires communication. Is because like you can sit here and defend, which is what I'm doing, and I think that's important because like as you can see they have 2 points right now. So I'm like, they cannot capture this one because they have all 3 points.
Then they can attack your base.
Exactly.
So you're defending here, and they look. It looks like they're just completely blowing over you now. They're well over 100 points ahead, but that's not how the game works. We played several of these matches, and it seemed like almost all of them were decided by a sliver. And
there's a reason we chose this one.
Yeah.
Just
cool.
not to spoil anything.
Yeah,
but
there's
a reason we chose this one
rad,
to do the
Now, I'm going to speak out for a second here because I was playing in several of these matches. I have never enjoyed Halo more, I think, than I did playing these Warzone matches.
That's awesome to hear.
I really like the map layouts, which are not quite as vertical as some of the others we've seen in Halo 5.
Yeah, they're very wide open, right?
Yeah, but they're very wide open, and there's just enough verticality to feel like you can keep a measure of the space, and they're just wide open enough, but the corridors are very smartly created. You start to figure out where they are, and you're like, oh, okay, this map is really, really intelligently put together, but you feel mobile, you feel important, there's a sense of hope. You watch the other team pull ahead, and you're like, nope, we can turn this around. And you do it again and again. I love that.
And that's what's so cool is like when you see, you look at the screen and you're like, okay, they're 100 points ahead. You're like, we're falling behind. But then you see a Tankmaster Rock spawn. You're like, that's 150 points. Like if me and 3 other people can just head out there, we can get him and we're back in this game.
And if you can just land that last shot, if the other team is taking him down and you arrive at just the right moment, take them from behind, knock him out and finish him off, and suddenly, bam, and you take all their work and make it work for you.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of that in this. So, right now you're defending, kind of trying to keep this last spot secure.
Yeah, and now we've gotten we got one of our bases back, the West Armory.
So now things have shifted a little. So is this where you and Ryan head out? I'm trying to remember.
At some point, like very soon. I can't remember. I do remember standing here and see, this is where I'm just like, I'm gonna go try and kill this guy myself. Okay. And because I was like,
Zealot Assassin, right?
Yeah, he's just an elite, but he's a strong elite, and I was like, well, I have a battle rifle. I think I can handle it. But I mean, this is the thing is like, you do have to. Oh, one of the other things I really wanted to point out is like, despite how big and open and beautifully designed and kind of artfully crafted these matches are, this is still a crisp 1080 60 FPS.
It flies. It absolutely flows.
Yeah, it's super silky and smooth and buttery. So now I have 5 points, and I think I'm debating here whether or not I want to
cash in or not.
Or like
not yet. Not yet. And you can always walk back to a rec station.
Yeah, so that's the other thing is there's 2 ways to access the rec stations. One on the death screen, which you just saw, but also there are these little like requisition sort of kiosks within bases that you can just access at any point and buy stuff from there, and then it'll spawn whatever it is in your inventory the next time you spawn, or if it's a vehicle, it'll actually spawn you in the vehicle right there, and then you kind of have to walk out of your base.
And you have to be careful when you're doing that, because I discovered there were a couple of fun places where people like to stop for requisitions, and you really could camp right off at the edge and just pick them off as they tried, which was a fun annoyance. It didn't grant you many points, but you could get 2 or 3 people really ticked off, and one person could draw 3 away for a significant period of time and help their team out, not by scoring a lot of points themselves, but by depleting the resources of the other team by getting other people distracted. That happened a lot.
Absolutely.
And, it was fun.
And actually, that's another thing is, like, you want to try, you definitely want to focus fire people's, like, banshees and stuff. Like, it becomes very difficult to, you don't want them to be able to, like, pad their lead when they access, like, a power weapon or, like, a, you know, a banshee or a vehicle or something like that.
Oh, you're wrecking here. Is this the?
This is where I was like,
submit to the. Do you get a raid? No,
Ghost.
did you get a ghost? Okay, so here we are. This first.
I'm too. I can't fire with the raids. I'm terrible. So this is now you can see, and the enemy core is vulnerable here, and I think this is when I just like I try and go over to the core
and go after the core. Yeah, and the core is a ways away. It is not easy to get.
Yeah,
to.
Like I said, it's not. Yeah, it's not easy to get to, and it's also not. It takes a while to actually kill. Like they have the opportunity to capture a base and make the core invulnerable again.
Yeah.
At some point, Ryan and me fight this guy too.
The tank master. This guy.
Or I think I try and fight him.
Oh, do you try to fight him here? Oh, that is a poor decision.
Yeah. Well, that I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah,
I was like, wait,
right.
he's nailing every shot on me. I'm strafing back and forth, but he's like, nope.
Nope. Sorry.
And there goes my ghost. I did nothing with it.
Yeah. I wasn't trying to mock you there at all. The first time I fought the guy was the same thing. I was just like, oh look, they're dead. He is tough. So you're like, oh crap. So now you see already half of your level 4 bars filled up by what you accomplished. So you do get rewarded pretty quickly. Like they do seem to fill these meters up fast, but there is just enough space between requisitions that I think they timed it pretty perfectly.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing about. Oh, I ran out to a ghost.
Wow.
Did not know he was out there.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, like you pointed out, everything you do in this kind of adds to your energy points. So it's not difficult to kind of rack them up in any, like, or it's not really difficult to rack them up so that you can use them for anything. To get to the higher stuff, like banshees and vehicles, it can be a little tough to
And that's why you want to hold out. That's it.
Yeah, that's why you want to save.
They just force you risk-reward constantly. Yeah, you're just like, oh, I really... Because, I mean, you get your hands on a Phaeton, for example, and those are just incredible gunships.
Yeah, they're difficult to, like... They're weak, like, in terms of their actual, like, defense and body structure, but, like, most of the time you can't shoot them because they're highly mobile and they have this little, like, evasionary boost.
Yep.
That's a really great aircraft.
They're just nasty. They tend to they sweep in and they're kind of gone before you realize they're there a lot of the time.
Yeah, like the vehicles that effectively deal with them really well are Scorpions. Deal with them pretty well. Oh, I love this part.
Oh, are you about to do something amazing?
Well, I thought I was, and then he like saw me just in time.
So there's the enemy core, which you can't get to because one of your bases is one of the bases
still being
in other people's hands. So otherwise, that shield would be down, and you'd be able to go through.
Exactly.
That's kind of what you're hoping for here.
I at this point I'm trying to just like bait that guy out. Like he knows I'm out here, and I'm just like waiting for him to try and find me so that I can shoot him with my little plasma rocket launcher thingy here. But it does not appear to be working.
He doesn't want to play nice.
No.
Ah, what a jerk.
And then the Scorpion comes out.
Right. All right. So you shoot him with a. It's kind of plasma.
Two Scorpions.
That was the problem.
And at this point, I'm getting on the mic and I'm like, guys, there are 2 Scorpions inbound to you.
Right.
Watch out.
And so you're hoping they're requisitioning anti-vehicle weapons at that point.
Yeah, or just even preparing to like get assaulted at one base. You know, like that's the other thing is like communication's so key in this game. Like you need to be able to kind of congregate all of your Spartans together to defend a point if a huge amount of pressure, like 2 Scorpions, is going to be coming into you like that.
And when we were playing this, we were all playing in the same room. But the problem is when you shouted out things like that, the other team could hear too.
Exactly.
And so you had to be. But I imagine that a team that.
Oh, so here's me and Ryan fighting this guy.
Okay, here we go. There's Tank Master. And he's just so darn durable. That's his problem.
So at this point, I was like, I remember him owning me last time, so I'm going to get behind him and try and draw his gaze away so Ryan can just shoot him. But then he's smart. Look, he jumps out there and he's like. There we go. So now, look, we're in the lead right after that. We were previously losing by like 100 points.
And now you're ahead.
And now we're ahead. And that just took, it took Brian saving up to get whatever the Covenant tank is called, I forget, and then me coming out there to support with a Ghost.
And an awful lot of wearing down that took place before that.
Yeah, exactly. Like you admit, he's been there for, I think he spawned at the 11-minute mark.
Yeah, actually, I'm pretty sure I went out there and wailed on him for a while in this same game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm running around in this one somewhere, I'm pretty sure. I don't know where I am, but I'm around someplace. Oh, there we go. Let's see, Ghost, and nicely done. Oh, you made that guy so sad. Look at that.
It can be so hard fighting ghosts when you're just on foot.
Yeah, oh, it's just an enormous pain. Although, oh, look at that guy. He just did
Spartan charged
yeah, he just did the jump. Now, we've talked about that in other videos, but why don't you let people know about the new abilities for the Spartans?
Yeah, so Spartan, because like we now have the integration of Spartan 4s, like basically, but I mean even the Spartan 2s can do it. You have access to a whole slew of new Spartan abilities. One of them is the Spartan charge, which you can activate as a melee when you're in mid-sprint, and that's basically it's a shoulder charge, is what it is. It doesn't one-shot a Spartan, but it will take off their shield. And like any melee, if you hit them from behind in Halo, it will one-shot them. They also have a ground pound, which is a melee that you activate while in the air, and using your thrusters rockets you down to the ground, dealing damage in a small AoE around your position on the ground. Right,
you kind of lock vulnerable in midair for just a second and then come down. So you're really vulnerable, and then you get a great payoff. It's kind of a risk-reward thing.
Exactly, yeah, and that actually just adds... you don't see it too much in this mode because, again, like you mentioned, the maps in this mode are a little bit more wide open and not necessarily so... vertical. This is where I'm like, let's get these incoming Prometheans, and then you'll see what it is here. Captain Hestro in the Phaeton. And I was like, I can't do anything about that, so I'm like, well, let's try.
Captain Hestro is a jerk.
At some point, I was like, nope. And then
it's like, this is not going to work.
Yeah, I was like, wait, let me see if I can put some damage on him. And I quickly realized, like, I cannot do anything, and then I think I just, like, leave.
Oh, you're wearing him down pretty good here now.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, nicely done. Oh, that's you know what? For being a ghost, that's pretty impressive.
So. You really need like if you're gonna deal with them on foot. So now I'm up to level 7. I think at this point I'd choose to go with something big.
Okay. So what are you going for here?
Enemy captured the Spire.
But you see down there on that lower tier, those last two kind of super. I mean, the Scorpion's great, but you've got two super weapons on that final tier. If you it's just hard to hold out that long.
Well, I had just bought the Phaeton, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, what will help me with the Phaeton? Yeah. And I was like, the Scorpion.
Exactly.
And then I'm driving out, and I'm like, this thing is slow. Like
it is. It's slow, and it gets stuck easy, too. You have to be careful.
Well, you see me kind of even just, like, having trouble getting out of here because, like, I'm generally a pretty good driver when it comes to vehicles in Halo 2. Halo as well.
Yeah.
Not Halo 2, the game. But, yeah, I mean, it gets stuck on things. There's kind of a lot of geometry in these maps as well, just a lot of, like, little rocks and ledges and stuff, too. But, I was like, I'm going to go find that Phaeton, and I'm going to go shoot him, but I don't think I'd make it.
Yeah, what's happening here? But, yeah, I got mine stuck. I mean, I got mine wedged so badly in a spot that I could not get it out. So I just sat there shooting at aircraft, and actually it worked out pretty well. So, there's Captain Hestro.
So they caught up with just killing that one Warden Eternal.
So now you're sitting 3 points apart. You are 22 minutes into this massive match, and you're separated by 4 points out of 1,000.
Yeah, and then this guy comes out of nowhere and
what a joke!
Yeah,
look at this joke. Ah,
all those points for nothing. I got like a few Spartan kills, and that was it. Yeah, it's like you said, I really love the risk reward system of this. It's just a different thing in Halo. Like, this is not really something we've seen before, and it feels very at home within the Halo universe.
It really does. It reminds me in a way. Have you ever played PlanetSide 2?
No, I haven't actually.
I'm not a big fan of free-to-play games, but PlanetSide 2 is kind of one glorious exception because it does this kind of massive battle risk-reward requisition type thing better than just about anything I've ever played.
Right.
And this really reminds me of kind of a refined, distilled version of that.
Yeah.
So I just cannot wait to see if the potential that we saw. You know, slices are always suspect. You know, when you're playing a little part of a game, you know, it doesn't give you the big picture. But I just had a ball playing this.
It's a lot of fun. It really is. And I think I can imagine it would just be so glorious to run in there with a full team of 12 Spartans and just like really work to win together. It's a great thing.
Because that's what we are missing here is there's kind of you may notice there's sort of a fumbling quality to some of what, you know, we were learning the maps, we weren't able to coordinate the way we'd like to have. Everybody's learning to play together at the same time, and so there's a little bit of experimentation going on here, but you pick it up pretty quick. I mean,
certainly, and we finally get Captain Hestro there.
Right, and also your raw Halo skills just kind of carried through on this. I mean, that's a lot of it, is that if you're good at Halo, you're going to be pretty good at this right off.
Yeah, because anyone who's just effective at killing or has good strategy is going to be is going to see their success pay off in this mode as well as in Arena.
Yeah.
But because there's so many Spartans and because, like, you know, it's not necessarily all about killing people in this, it becomes pretty tough.
Oh.
I tried to board, and instead I ended up getting in the...
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry that didn't work out.
Oh, yeah.
That was really cool.
A lot of people came out of nowhere, and
Yeah.
I was just like, I need to get out of there.
Yeah. Suddenly you're doing base defense.
But yeah, I mean, like, so now we're getting really close to the end here.
Right.
And I remember this guy flew in our base with a Banshee, and I'm like, guys, there's a Banshee in our base.
Yep. I remember that. I may have been in the same room, actually, at this point, because I remember that happening, too. And, yeah, people just fly vehicles, and you can try all kinds of stuff. And it's nice. I mean, they left the doors just wide enough open that that kind of absurdity can take place, which is wonderful.
I love that about Halo. Is like, some of the amazingly funny things that happen in Halo are all about that kind of stuff. And to see it happening, like, even just now, like in a preview when we're all sort of kind of just figuring things out, like, it makes me very excited for what this game's going to bring once it releases to the public, and all these different people get, you know, their hands on the game.
Yep. Now, we didn't talk about this. You do gain the ability, any point you control, you can spawn at. Now, right now, the other team...
Oh, yeah. So, actually, I was whining about that during the game. I was like, I'm so far away. And then someone was like, you know, you can choose your spawn point, right? Use the D-pad. And I was like, oh, my God, that changes
and suddenly it
everything.
turned around. Yeah.
So, yeah, you can choose between... If your team controls a point. Right now, we don't. Our core is vulnerable, which is why I'm standing here defending it. But yeah, you have the ability to use the D-pad to select which points of the ones you control you spawn at, which means, like, strategically you can just choose where you want to defend or attack, and it makes it really easy.
Now you see that she just announced that level 8 requisitions are available. The final rec level is now open, which means people are going to unlock the truly just vicious stuff. Oh, you hopped in the Banshee.
Yeah, someone left their Banshee here like a fool, and now I'm going to go wreck people with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the other thing, is like, look how big and wide open these maps are.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot to do on the ground and in the air.
But very intelligently constructed. Like, the choke points are all at the right places. You've got just enough places. Wow, okay, there we are. Now that is some tactical air combat.
Oh, yeah.
Just aim at one another and point. There we are.
Just hope someone
dies.
The other, yeah. Well, this one I was like, I'm trying to get behind him, but this guy's pretty good at, like, evading. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to try and get some space on him and then come from, like, a different direction.
How's it work out? Let's see.
Well, we'll find out in a little bit. But yeah, like, we're at this point, me and Ryan are just like, let's hold on to the lead. Like, we're so close.
Yeah. It's like, oh my gosh. I'm going to do a strafing run here. Those are very rewarding. It is fun to watch them just flee beneath you from so far away. Oh, I love this map. This is really good. I have so well designed for this.
Yeah, for sure. And I love how it's the same sort of closeness in Halo that you feel like, where the matches are really close and everything's really intense and your heart's kind of pounding. You're like, what are we going to do to pull this out? But it's on a totally different scale because it's so big and it takes so much time to get there.
And now you're thinking you're a shoe-in to win. You're 979 to 925, 980 now to 928. So yeah, you know, oh, we're going to win.
Well, yeah, at this point we're just like, hold on.
Yeah, we got to hold on. But...
Well, it's super tough because I was like, I'm one shot. If that Scorpion turns around and shoot me, I am messed up.
And also, even though you're ahead, the core is vulnerable now.
So they still have the chance to, like, one-shot us if they dedicated all of their resources to it. They may be able to. Yeah. So I'm kind of just patrolling and trying to take out this, trying to take out their power weapons and stuff.
And you notice that your climb is a little lower, and theirs is hopping up much quicker. Something's happening somewhere where they're gaining a lot of points all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, they have all 3 points, which means they'll gain points just on the tick faster. And then I get wrecked by that.
Now you've been locked in the 980s for a while. They're still climbing up there in the 960s.
It's getting
very, very
really
close. You're like, I have to respawn. Okay, and this you didn't choose the requisition there.
No, I was just like, I need to get to the core as fast as I can.
Yeah. Let's see, it popped out there.
And now I'm just realizing, like, man, I'm so far away.
Yeah, it's like, I picked the wrong spot. Yeah, 991 to 981, 992 to 981. They're just like, run back. So much happening.
And we have this
983 to 984.
At this point, I'm just telling my teammates, like, as best we can. I was like, just stay alive, get a few kills, like. And this is where I was like, I need a weapon, and so I need a weapon.
You need a weapon. grab that.
We have
993 to 990. You're now within a
from Halo
point.
4.
994 to 994. 1 point, 1 point, 2 points.
We've lost the lead.
1 point. This is like, and
Spartans.
by 3 points,
Very
there at
close,
the end.
right?
That's it. Oh, look, a achievement pop there for Cry Havoc. So there you have played 3. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Sean, thank you so much for taking us through this Warzone match.
My pleasure. I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw.
Hope you enjoyed it. And for everything Halo 5, we hope you'll stick with your friends here at IGN.